Okay, we got some stuff. We got some new parts. Sadly though, this is not parts for the WR426. He's still humming and hawing over what he needs to get. This is for the Kawasaki. But yeah, so we had the cylinder done. He had to put a what the hell do you call that thing? A threaded piece. My brain isn't working. I haven't been awake that long yet today. It's like a helicoil, but it's much stouter and much better than a helicoil. Yeah, this cylinder looks pretty damn good. Man, did a good job wrapping it up. But okay, so let's look at the work order here. So we got a new piston. I had crankshaft main bearings and seals. A complete engine gasket kit, a stud for the cylinder. The reason the guy had to put that in there is the guy who originally had this bike talked about, the head kind of leaked a little bit of coolant once in a while, but what he had done is he'd taken like a 3/8 long bolt and stacked a whole bunch of washings and just powered it right through the aluminum and just kind of effed the whole top of this head up here. So that part I was not too happy about. But yeah, I didn't do a teardown on this video, on this engine. I did show it leaning up against the garbage can over there, or against that black garbage can. Oh yeah, then I got another one dropped off. But we'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, I thought this would be a quick rebuild. This new piston, slap a piston in it, do some gaskets, new head gasket. But the cylinder was kind of hooped. So I believe what my engine guy did is I believe he replaced the sleeve. Oh yeah, she's a beauty now. Ooh, very nice. Ports look good. Yeah, very nice. Excellent. But okay, so I didn't do a teardown. I thought it would be a quick build. And I actually expected the parts for the WR to come before this, but this is where we're at. So now we got to go dig it out of the shed, because I didn't think I'd get any of these parts for quite a while. But oh yeah, so for all this stuff here, for the piston, the main bearings, the crank, and I also got him to, you see it says rebuild the crank. I got him to take the crank apart, take the two halves of the crank apart, and I got him to fix the run out, check the run out, rebalance it if it needs to be. Boy, this stuff is packed up nice. Yeah, this thing will be pretty sick when it's all done. Yeah, buddy. But now you got to go dig it out of the shed. Okay, so sneak peek. 2014 M1100 turbo. Buddy was out in the back bushes there, and suddenly, I guess he went to back up, and it was all grinding and crunching, and nothing was working. And so this will be a fun one. The chain case is right down here, and when he brought it, I stuck my finger inside this hole, and I was like, you know, I can feel the chain, right? And he's like, yeah, the little inspection window there popped out, and all the oil ran out, and he was way out in the middle of nowhere, so he had to run it back with no oil in it. This will be a good one. This will be an expensive one. He was able to print me off an exploded view of all the bits and pieces inside there. And I don't think it'll be a big one. We both think it'll be expensive. I don't. Usually when reverse goes, it's not something bad, and the parts usually aren't that expensive. Unless you run it a long time with no oil on it, then he might be a little bit hooped. But yeah, should be okay. Alright, so now I get to go over to the shed. I show you where the Kawasaki's buried, and we'll drag her over here and start tearing into that engine. Okay, so we're over at the shed. Look at all the crap I have in here. Oh boy, I moved some bunch of stuff around. I got the Shi over there and the old Yami sitting there. Snowblowers in the way. All this stuff, tires. Way in the back there, the green one. The bike can stay out here, but I need the box. I need that green box with the engine parts in it. Oof. Oh my god, this room is just full of stuff. I don't like coming out here. Okay, grab the box and I'll go back in the shop. So I figure if I'm going to get that bin and try to trip over everything to get it, at least if I trip and land on my face, I'll have it on camera. myself again. Yay! Okay, so. God, I'm out of shape. Oh, this is hard work. Oh, didn't wipe out. That's a good sign. I cleaned some shelves off. Got the box and got the bin in the shop. Yeah, I'll try to empty the bin out under the counter there and show you what's in there without showing my butt crack. So this is a, it's got an FMF Fatty Gold pipe. So the pipe is actually in pretty good shape. Not too many big dings or dents. I mean, it's got your usual dents here from when rocks come up and hit the pipe or you dump your bike. A little bit of a dent here, but no big cracks. So this thing will sound pretty good. So we got the, what is this, the right side case. It's got the water pump gear on it. Radiator, obviously. It's got this big ass Keenan carb on it. Got this silencer. Packing can be replaced. Clutch, plates. That'll have to be re-soaked. And everything is, I got it all bag tagged and labeled here. So this is power valve stuff. So you got your governor. Let's see, what can you see? So you got your governor, which goes inside, runs on that plastic gear, and controls the power valve opening and closing based on the RPM. Power valves, what I need is this and this. Oh, that can come out of there. That can come off. The reed pack looks pretty good. Looks good, like it's got aftermarket. I think these are Boysen reeds maybe. It's a dual pedal. So only the smaller pedals will open up under lower RPM, and then the bigger pedals will open up under wide open. And they're all sitting pretty flat. Looks pretty good. Oh, all this stuff needs a big deep clean. And what I'm after is this beauty right here. Engine grease. Okay. Out of here. Move some stuff here. Oh, this shit dirty. Okay, so now we're over here. So there is what I'm after. So 2 strokes are insanely simple. There's like nothing to these engines at all. So this, when I took it apart, I actually left the transmission in the case. Transmission was still pretty good, looking pretty good. I mean, the case could be cleaned. Output shaft looks pretty good. Yeah, gears all need to be cleaned. There's no chunks missing out of this transmission like in the WR. No chunks, nothing too bad. The drum looks pretty good, but you know, the engine needs to be clean. Like there's all this stuff on here. Can't put an engine back together with all that crap in there. But I mean, yeah, that's pretty much it. Hey, that is pretty much it. Your crank goes here. Here's your seal, crank bearing, and then crank bearing and seal, and you slap it all back together, and that is basically it for this 2-stroke engine. They don't make them any simpler than this. I think if we look at it, we could probably tell how many gears it's got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So by the look of it, it's got 5 forward gears. So this little bike is gonna rip. Ooh boy. Yeah, I do. However, I would like to pull the transmission out so I can clean the case up here properly. But yeah, that's my next job here for a little bit, is to clean all this and get this as spick as I can. And yeah, so I've probably shown this before in the WR video, but when I take an engine apart, especially a dirt bike, there's a zillion pieces inside. I bag and tag everything. So even something as simple as like the cylinder base nuts and the washers, so you know what goes where. So when I go to put it back together, I'm not missing anything. 4 nuts, 4 washers. It's all there in the bag. And you know, these Ziploc bags are nothing. There's no cost to these at all. You go to the store, they're like $3 or whatever. You can even go to the dollar store and get the non-Ziploc brand for $1 for 100 bags. Everything in here, right? So then we got the right side engine case bolts, right? Everything. But what I am looking for, those are case nuts, bolts. What I'm looking for is one of the rods for the power valve. So whoever put this bike together, this engine together last, did a really horrible job of it. And oh, there's mismatched nuts and bolts and stuff that makes you just want to, oh, I want to talk to the guy who put the engine together. Because he powered on, your threads are important. So he took I think it was a 7/16 standard, what the heck do you call it? Society of SAE. So your, holy man, I can't talk. Here, I'll show you. I'll show you because I'm a dumbass today. It says 5/16 on it. Oh, wait, you can't even read that. So it says 5/16 on it. This is SAE, and then this is metric. This is 8 mil. So when you run versus, right? So most Asian bikes like Kawasaki and Yamaha, and even some Honda, they all run metric. They all run 8mm. They don't run American or standard or it's just SAE, Society of Automotive Engineers. This is like the, what the heck do you call that? Holy man. Fraction. Thank you. Fraction. So what he did is he took a 7/16 standard nut with standard thread and he powered it on to a metric stud that takes a 10mm metric thread. And when I went to take it apart, he had powered it on there so hard that when I took it apart and I just touched it with 3 little 1/4-inch ratchet, it just went and everything broke. Drives me nuts when people do that. And you know what? When I was young, I used to do that kind of stuff too. But when you're putting an engine together, it is very important that you put things together right. Engine is all about clearance. You do that to something inside here and you're flying down the road and the engine will kaboom. It'll just explode. Nothing left. So I got lots of cleaning to do. I don't think I'm going to put that on film. I don't know how to do like a time lapse, and I don't have a GoPro, so I'm going to clean all this shit up. And I'll come back when it's all clean and ready to be assembled. Okay, well, I'm half done. I got half of it cleaned. It's actually pretty hard to tell because this bike before wasn't really taken care of. It's okay, it's a dirt bike, right? It's heavily pitted and a lot of this is corrosion in the aluminum. It looks like dirt on the outside, but it's not. It's right in the metal. But yeah, it's half done. It looks good, nice and clean. Got to get a scraper, right, and scrape off some gaskets, but we're getting there. There's one half done. I get to do the other half. Here's my goofy setup. Garbage can. Biodegradable. So I'll do the water and the biodegradable degreaser, and I'll do that because when you get these things, they're all like, there's like a ball of grease, right? So you go along, you take a screwdriver, a scraper, and you scrape all the crap off. Then you put it outside and you get the medium stuff off, and then I use this solvent tank to get the water out of it and clean it just that much further. I tell you though, this stuff is, oh, this stuff stinks. I've had this solvent in here for quite a few years, and I tell you, man, after a little while, this stuff starts to get pretty potent. Yeah, I like to do this outside because you do this for about 20 minutes and you start to feel a little, woo! But yeah, so the water outside step one, this is step two. There we go, there's some freshly cleaned cases, all ready for assembly, nice and clean. Turned out pretty good, aside from the crusty stuff there on the bottom. But anytime I ever do anything with water, I'll always take WD-40, especially when it comes to bearings that are not going to get replaced. So these bearings are actually pretty good, all of these bearings are really good. So I'll take my WD, which obviously the tip come off, and I never found anything that was able to replace it with. Cadence, Daddy's making a video. And we put the WD in there and give her a spin, and that gets all the water out. Because WD actually stands for water displacement. Right on, ready for assembly. There's the transmission. I wasn't going to do it, but I think I want to tear it down and clean all the crud out of it, because there's lots of stuff in the gears. And I want this thing to shift really nice. I really don't want to take it all apart again. But if you look at the gears, there's some crud. There's no real serious wear on any of these gears actually. This transmission's in really good shape. And it slides really nice on the shaft, and it's actually quite tight. But I mean, you can see there's some crud. If you look between that gear that I'm turning, right there at the tooth. See if we can scrape that out of there. So this stuff right here. Yeah, we can see that. So if you get any metal in these engines, I don't know what the hell that is. Maybe that's metal. What is that? Oh yeah, that's a rock. That's a rock. Okay, well there you go. That's why I want to go through it, because if you get something like that into one of these teeth, that can stop the transmission. Believe it or not, one tiny little rock in the root of the tooth at the bottom, that can spell disaster for one of these. I'm not gonna. Oh, I don't have to unpress. See, look at all the crud in there, in that gear. I'll take it off. Look at all the crap in this gear. There's a little bit of pitting, but I'm not too worried about it. Yeah, should be okay for the little bit of time the spike will get run. Yeah. Okay, I'll tear the transmission down. There's the transmission. She'd be all taken apart. And she's pretty grungy. There's some pretty, quite a bit of dirt and stuff in the shafts and the gears. So this is the, what do you call it? You got the, I think this is the main shaft here. Because you got, power goes in on that one there, on this side here. The clutch basket rides on that, runs through the gears, and then comes out here, and your sprocket goes on this shaft right here. Yeah. For the most part, the gears are in pretty good shape. It's just dirty, disgusting. So most of the gears have bits in the teeth. If you look in the teeth there, I don't know if you can even see it. Flip this thing around so you can see. Yeah. So if you look, a lot of the roots of the teeth have lots of stuff in them. That needs to be cleaned out of there. And then it should shift quite a bit better. I think the when young boy dropped the bike off, he did say, I think the last guy said that there was some issues. There was some issues with the shifting, and that can do it. Little bits and pieces of rock and whatever, and the roots of the teeth, it'll prevent it from going into gear because they won't mesh properly. But yeah, there's the transmission. So I'll get her all cleaned up and put it all back together. So what's the best tool used for cleaning small engine parts? Dun, dun, dun. Works really good. You can get right in those cracks and crevices. I use old toothbrushes for a lot of stuff, but yeah, that gear is way cleaner now. Yeah, keep that in mind. Another win for Blake. Brake clean, baby. Yeehaw! and the shaft. It's looking pretty good. Alright. Got all the crud cleaned off of that. Oh my god. Ooh, almost got wet. Alright. Shaft is done and clean. Okay, so we'll do some assembly here. Now, I'm not good at being in front of the camera. Okay, so this sleeve goes into this gear. Okay, see if I'm, and then this goes on here, like a so. Down the end, like that. You know what's funny is I could actually use the case, and I could just do it like this. There. Now I got something to hold up while I'm putting her together. No, that's stupid. That's stupid. Stupid idea. Scratch that. Oh yeah, check out this O-ring. So this O-ring, so it doesn't leak out the output shaft. O-ring is shot completely. So how can I get this where camera can see? So there's all my parts all laid out, bits and pieces. Right. So there is that. Now there's a snap ring groove, so then there's a snap ring that goes on here, like so. Some snap ring pliers. Now these, I hate these snap rings. These snap rings are some of the worst. These things like to twist. Come on, dexterity. There we go. Hey, oh, twisting. See, it's twisting. I hate these snap rings. Urgh. It wouldn't be so bad if it wouldn't twist. Okay, hang on a second. I finally got her started. I got some more. I got a whole container of these types of pliers. So now the hard part is we got to get it past that groove and get it down there in that groove. Stuck in the groove. Dang it. Hey, there we go. Got her. Got her out of the groove. No, I did not get it out of the groove. There we go. And then cross that groove. Come on. Come on. Oof, I feel like I'm going to lose a finger here today. Stabbed anyway. Okay, there we go. So we set that down inside of there. And then this guy goes down. And I just pop her in the groove here. Get clean screwdriver. And just pop her down in the groove. Snap. Click. Installed. Smooth's nice. Smooth's nice. Rolls nice. Very good. Alright. Next part is slider. So this is what actually engages your gear, so it goes on the shaft. And get it to start. So what's cool about these transmissions is the slider is the driven part. In most other transmissions, the gears are the driven part, but in this case, the slider slides onto the shaft here and it's driven. So then this, if you look at these little dogs right here, these dogs, they lock into the little slots, and that's how you shift gears. So that would be not in gear, and that would be in gear. So a lot of people argue about, you know, dirt bikes and street bike transmissions that you have to use the clutch or you don't. The way this is designed, you don't have to use the clutch. It's not like a car that has synchro sleeves, and if you don't use the clutch, it'll grind the engagement teeth off of the gear. You don't have that. It's just slots cut in the gear, so then when you slam it, locks into place. So no, in a dirt bike, you do not have to use the clutch. Okay, so there's that part. So then we take the other half of that gear, and that goes on like so. Right, like that. No, that's wrong. No, that's wrong, because that would always be in gear. What? What did I do wrong here? Okay, gotta pause the camera, figure out what the heck I did wrong. Right back. Alright, my dumbass figured it out. And I forgot a snap ring here, so if I put the gear on there, it'd actually engage, but it would be engaged in both gears. So now with this on here, the slider can either go to this gear, can go into this gear, right? Lock that into place, or it has to be in the middle. That's what I forgot. It has to be in the middle because it's got first, second, third, fourth, and then down here on the other shaft would be fifth and sixth. So yeah. Okay, back to the build here. So after that goes on, then we get the other gear. The other gear goes on here. Okay, looking good. No mud or nothing in those teeth. So then we grab another snap ring right here. The snapper ringer goes on it next. Snap on that gear. That snap ring is installed just like that. Everything's looking good, nothing's moved, all the snap rings are in place. Everything's floating really nice. Really good, really good. So, same as the other gear, this has also got the slots in it. So we come over here and we get the other slider. Another slider goes on here on the shaft and get it started. This is a good thing. If I can't get it started, that's a good thing. That means the splines are tight. So there we go. That goes on there like so. And then this gear goes on here. This. That gear goes on there like that, right? You see how that's not, it doesn't engage in the splines. Right? Right, that's all these gears, none of these gears actually engage with the splines unless they're not, right? And then this one here goes on the shaft here like so. Right, and then you got one more, which is this gear. This gear actually goes on the inside of the case. So this goes on the outside. So when you put this transmission together, right, this would pop through that little hole right there. So this is going to go through, but you can't even see, and that's going to go through that little hole. Hey, working around a camera is hard. But for now, I'm just going to put this gear on here. So I believe this is the, what is this? This is driven off of the clutch basket, and it drives the governor for the power valve. So then that goes on, and then the little snap ring will go on the inside, but for now I'm just going to assemble it all like this. Put this snap ring back in, and the shaft is done. Looks good, nice and clean. Good movement on all the gears. Good movement. Good engagement for either gear on each shaft here. Locks in. Locks in good. Yeah. Right on. There's one shaft done. Going in the done pile. Okay. Now I get set up for the other shaft. I gotta clean all the gears in the shaft now. Maybe I'll show that too. Why not? Shaft first. Get her nice and clean. Shaft is nice and clean. Oh no, the camera's going. Oops. Okay. Another gear. So you can tell the smaller the gear, the faster the bike goes. Another gear done. Done cleaned. Okay, and then, so this one here is like a double shaft. So you see the shift fork goes into here, and this goes either way. So this will be fifth or sixth. One, two, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this bike should have 6 gears. Okay, where's my toothbrush? Yeah, my toothbrush. Brush my teeth. Getting the splines. Getting the splines. Getting the actual teeth. Toothed and toothed and pieces and pisses. And pieces and pisses. Real clean. And now the final gear. So this one here being really tiny, right? This is going to be your 6th gear. So these are the gears that I'm concerned about the most, being the smallest. So I don't think I've ever seen somebody break a 1st gear, but I've seen people break a 6th gear. Oh yeah, you can see there's actually a little bit of pitting on these teeth. It's not the best. It'll do what it should do, what it's supposed to do for now. For now. I think young Daniel will get quite a bit of ride time out of this bike. The bike will be ugly, but the engine will be brand new. And I can go rip some tires off. Alright, I got to get set up to get the other shaft together. Okay, this one's ready to go back together. Oops. I guess I need a new glove. Oh boy. New glove installed, ready to go. So there it is. I guess for the sake of argument, I guess we could call that the main shaft, and we could call this the counter shaft. Although in a dirt bike transmission, I don't think you could say that, because power goes in on this side and then power goes out on that side. Generally in like our standard car transmission, the power goes through the main shaft. Nothing touches the counter shaft. So here we go. Nice and clean and shiny. Okay, go for this gear first. You see it's all worn and it's got witness marks on it, so ooh. It's even nice and tight. Okay. Snap ring now. Just like before. There's 3 snap ring grooves. Just gotta go all the way down. See if I can do it without swearing too many times. Oh, it's going. It's going. It's going. It's almost there. Aha! I win. And locks down in the groove. Take it. Click. Click. And it's in there. And it still goes. That's a good sign. Alrighty then. Okay, so then we take our drive. And which one goes in that one here? Here, I forget already. That goes in that one. That one does not go in that one. So this goes in this side here, like so. In the gear. Then the snap ring goes on, because the gear shouldn't float. Get on there. Get on there, you son of a gun. I guess a guy could use... Oh, listen to me now, I sound like Vice Grip. Guy could use a better set of pliers, I guess. I'm not complaining, I got a pretty good set for fairly cheap. Come on now. There we go. And into place there. Okay. So then this gear goes on, right? Very nice. Then the snap ring. Gotta work on my camera skills a little bit. That's right, it's true what they say, you know, it's kind of hard to work around the camera. Click. She's all on there. Everything's smooth. Nothing's binding up. Everything's good. It's good, it's good, it's good. And then this guy, I think this guy goes on this way. Yeah. Right on. So there's shaft number 2 all done. I'll set it over here. This guy, we'll see how well these mesh. See if I remember to put the right gear in the right spot. So one goes this way, one goes that way. And it should line up something like that in the transmission. Yeah, that's looking good. And then this guy. Yeah, that'll work nicely. It's meshing quite nice. Yeah, everything slides together. Yeah, so there it is. Transmission. I don't want to call it rebuild, but it was definitely clean. It was definitely dirty. Alright then, on to the next thing. We have the shift drum and the shift star. So this it's full of mud and yuck like the other stuff, so this will get cleaned. But this is how the bike shifts. When I get this all cleaned up, I'll show you how the shift forks. But you can see the channels, right? So the shift fork will ride in this channel in the drum, and then oop, that's a gear, and then that's back to normal. So let's see if we can find it here. So this would be the last gears. So we'll start here, okay? So 1 down would be first gear. Or is that up? Yeah, okay, so 1 down is first gear, right? Middle is neutral. Up is second gear. And then the drum takes over here. Then we get third gear, fourth gear, and maybe it's only got 4 gears. Take a closer look at this. Yeah. Oh, right on the end there. Yeah, there you go. You see that channel right there? So a fork would run in that channel. Or would it? Maybe I'm speaking out of my... I think I'm speaking out of my ass. Okay, well anyway, I'll get it cleaned up and see if I can figure this out. An old toothbrush is your friend. So I wanted to show this too. Let's see if we can zoom in here. Put down. So this is how these transmissions work. You can see the shift fork. It's got the little nub in it, and the nub rides in the little valleys down here, these little channels here, and every time there's a bump, so every time this gets bumped, right, see how it moves that over, and then it'll get bumped back to the middle, and then it'll get bumped back that way. So that's how these shift, right? And this going back and forth, this is how the transmission shifts. So let's see here. It would be first gear, second gear, third gear, fourth gear, and fifth gear this way, and so fifth gear that way, and then sixth gear that way. I can show a better demonstration when I get most of the case back together. But you can at least put half the case back together when I get closer. So this is where I am. I got the shaft in, I got the shaft in, I got the shift drum in, and then these are the shift forks. I want to kind of, how do I do this without knocking stuff out of here? This is a pain in the ass to get to this point. Maybe I just do it like this. There we go. Yeah, so there we go. You can look at it, and then your shift forks, right? Here's the shift fork. It's on the shaft, runs on that slider, and it slides into the thing there. Hang on, let me take you out of here. So here we are here. There's that shift fork, right? And that shift fork rides in that slot in the drum, right? And everything's turning, right? And then the drum will turn. I can do this. I'm making it too shaky. So the drum turns, right? And you see it lifts up and down on that. But this is near impossible to do in the camera. But yeah, that's how she works. So then you got the 2 shift forks over here, and then you got the pin that holds the shift shafts or the shift forks. And then the pins ride in the grooves in the drum. So when you push down, everything moves up and down. It's not really possible to show it without the other case half together, and then you can't even see the transmission. But she's looking good. She's getting there. Okay, I think I got it in a way where you can actually see the shift forks moving. So the way the drum moves, right? You're moving the drum with your foot. I just had that working. What's going on here? Oh, yeah, there we go. So now watch the shift forks. Here's the drum. See how the shift forks are moving back and forth? There we go. That's how she shifts. Pretty simple, pretty crude. So I think that's where I'm going to leave the video. It's all oiled up and ready for a crank. Should be pretty nice. Should shift really nice. Now it's all clean. This is gonna be a little ripper. And you know, these two strokes are not that complicated. I mean, that's it. That's all there is to the transmission. 2 shafts, a drum, and a couple forks. There ain't nothing to it. Crankshaft goes in that other hole here. Let's see if we can dig her out. Here's the crankshaft. Right? It goes in that hole there with bearings and seals, and slap the case halves together and your bottom end is done. There is nothing to these machines at all. That's it. Leaving this video here. Cases are cleaned. Waiting on a few things. Bye bye.